going to tell you about where I got my cat from. Rogue. I actually got her from Gata.
Oh, is that the orange one?
The little, well, she's kind of, I think she's like mixed calico tabby. And she was like this big when she brought her to me. And she had like her whole face covered in like gunk and whatever. It ends up being like a feline herpes virus that they get, like a respiratory herpes virus that they get. And so she found her on the porch. She came up to her. I took her to work and I was like, okay, let's give her fluids and clean her up. And if she makes it, I'll keep her.
Yeah.
And she made it. So I kept her. And she just has a drainage like eye that happens all the time. And if it's like really bad, I give her antiviral medicine, but she'll always have that. And then Comet didn't seem to get it, but I vaccinated her before I brought her home. So maybe that's why, I don't know. But she is Chloe's. For sure. Chloe steals her every day. Calls her a nugget.
Her cat.
Yeah. Chloe, my daughter.
Yeah. Austin's adopted my cat, Jinx.
Jinx?
Yeah. I got her from.
What kind of cat is that?
Just my black cat. Yeah.
She's
I got her from
you got a black cat too.
Yeah, I got a black cat.
That makes
from the
sense
Raleigh
because you
Animal
call it
Shelter.
Jinx.
Yeah. My sister actually came up with a name. I was going to call her something stupid. I can't even remember. I'm the worst at coming up with animal names.
Yeah. Well, we were going to call Comet Maleficent, but I was like, that's such a long... And she really is. I mean, she's evil. She should have been named Maleficent. She really is.
Pull your mic down just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
So, thank you for the AC unit that you gave me. I took it apart this morning. I unscrewed it. And then I tried to stand up and my back was like, ugh. Hurt so bad. And then I hosed it off and I brought it in and this room is really cool. Like you have no idea how hot it would be in here.
Yeah, I'm really glad it works.
I would be wearing shorts and we would be sweating. So thank you so much.
Yes, of course. We weren't even using it anymore, so we were like...
Yeah, no heart attack. It did have like these weird little leaf things in it. And so the fan was making a noise. That's why I was like, I'm just going to just take it
clean
apart.
that out. Yeah, there's a pine tree like right outside the window that it was outside of. That makes sense.
So, yes, so that's what it looked like, kind of pine
needles, yeah.
And it was hard because I would try to get them out of the fan and then they'd crumble. And I was like, oh, man. So then I hosed in there and then I had to put it upside down to get all the water out. And then I was like, I think it's okay to put water in here.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's...
Because it has to be outside, right? I hose that one all the time, but I don't know.
I'm glad it works, though, yeah.
But we talked about it. Yeah, that's probably like 15 years old.
Yeah.
Because I think it was the original one that they put in this little studio. But, okay. So, let's get into it. Since I'm nice and comfortable now. I had a little panic attack earlier because my microphone wasn't high. But this is my third episode of Healing with Hazy. And I'm talking to Miss Zoe today.
Hello.
Hi. Zoe works with me at Kingdom Jiu-Jitsu. By special request, I need to elaborate on what Kingdom Jiu-Jitsu is. It's actually a martial arts place that we teach kids bully defense. Zoe works with me and Josh on the bully defense. And then we do the kids class, adult class, women's class. And jiu-jitsu is just a martial arts that's like wrestling and grappling, but you can also chuck people and break their arm and manipulate their joints. And it's also just a really good self-defense program. We also do Live Fearless, which is another program that we work on. That's a 6-week program that's self-defense. And it does a lot of jiu-jitsu a lot of stuff that we use in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And it's really fun and empowering. And it's part of what inspired me to do this a little bit, to pursue this podcast a little bit more, was just all the women that have come into our lives throughout the women's program at jiu-jitsu and the Live Fearless program, and made me realize everybody has a story to tell. And so, yeah, I think I touched base on everything.
That was a pretty good summary of everything.
But yeah, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. Zoe, when did you start coming to jujitsu? How long have you been doing it now?
I think it's probably been a little bit over a year now that I've been at the gym.
You have what, like 2 or 3 stripes?
4 stripes now. Yes.
Oh, okay. So they fell off.
Yeah, they fell off.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I don't bother putting them on anymore until right before I'm about to get another.
Awesome. So she's about to get her yellow, right?
That's
the next
yellow.
One. I can't believe I can't even remember. We just do so many promotions, but the shirt colors and
the shirt colors, and then the adult belts, and
yeah. But and then you started interning pretty quickly. You realized, like, hey,
I was sort of obsessed. Yeah,
which is what kind of happened to me too with jujitsu. I kind of started and then got obsessed. I was like, I'm already here during the day. Why not just start teaching the kids and helping, because they needed help.
Yeah, I was really excited when Christina was like, yeah, why don't you come intern? I was like, what?
Yeah.
I can like do this for a job?
we were really excited too to have help, because you see, it's a lot of energy.
It's a lot of
energy to have kids take you down over and over and over again.
Yes, and just have them yelling at you. Don't say that to me.
I know.
Okay.
I know. We take a lot of abuse.
Yes.
We take a lot of bully abuse.
Yeah, it's worth it though.
It's worth it to keep them to stand up for themselves.
Yes, definitely.
And it's
so
really
rewarding.
fun to watch the kids grow up.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I've been doing it for quite a while now, so I've got to see some of them grow up.
I'm excited to see one go like all the way through the bully defense, then all the way through like the McGee program. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, and they're just so good. They look like little black belts.
Yes. I know some of them I'm like, oh, I see the potential.
Yeah.
Keep coming.
So what brought you to jiu-jitsu?
So it was kind of my husband, Austin. He was already coming to the gym. He's been doing martial arts like pretty much all of his adult life.
He did judo, right?
Yeah, he did judo. Yeah. I think he almost got I think right before he left his gym, he got his black belt in judo. But he was like, I just kind of want to keep doing it. And so he started doing jujitsu, and he was like, you should come. And I had tried another gym in Rockwall, and, I just wasn't really a fan of their women's program, just wasn't really existent. It didn't really exist.
Yeah.
And so he was like, yeah, you should come. The women seem really nice there. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll try it. I didn't have a job, and so I was like, why not?
Yeah.
And then I came, and I just sort of became obsessed right away. And like I said, the women's program at Kingdom is just so amazing. They just are so empowering and like so welcoming, just a completely different environment of women than I've ever experienced.
It really is. I think about the time that I started there was when they had already started the women's program, but I came into it pretty fast into the beginning. But Christina, she owns Kingdom with her husband, Eddie, my professor, Eddie. So you'll know who I'm talking about. And I will have Christina on the podcast. I'm very excited about it because she really is what helped me heal too. Through my journey.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Was Christina really empowered me and helped me learn boundaries and, helped me stand up for myself sometimes when I just didn't feel like I could.
Yeah, like she made me feel like, I am worth something. Like, I have skills and I can utilize them. And,
yes. Yeah. So she's a superhero. So he brought you to jiu-jitsu, right? But what was it so when you came to jiu-jitsu and you were like immediately addicted, was it because you felt like you were healing or?
Yeah, I think definitely. I feel like I've even read somewhere that if you have emotional trauma, or I think it might have even been someone at the gym, maybe even one of y'all who told me that emotional trauma sometimes stores itself in your body. And whenever you get on the mat, that works itself out. And, it even sort of makes you realize, I do have these things that are, in my past that help, getting on the mat helps me work them out. And a lot of physical trauma from my past, even where I was kind of helpless back then. But now I'm I feel much more empowered to be able to defend myself and
Yeah.
Like any regular person on the street, any regular man on the street, I feel confident enough to say I could defend myself against him.
Yeah. I used to walk with my head down. I didn't realize that it was anything, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Other people told me that it was my lack of confidence. And so when I went into jujitsu, I started, standing up and watching and looking around. I would say I'm very observant with my senses, but I wasn't observant with my eyes. I was trying to just be invisible or hidden.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to do that anymore. Jiu-jitsu doesn't, I feel more confident to where
I exist and...
I don't have this false fear of men.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but there's a false fear of sometimes parents or men or people in your life that you feel like you wouldn't be able to defend yourself. And then, now I know.
I said,
can
in regular
for sure
person
defend myself.
Yes, I could.
I've been slammed and kicked and thrown and swing around.
Yes, yeah. So those guys get pretty intense, but you're
they're just
I can handle it.
They get in fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I think all of us are a little spazzy in the beginning of
definitely.
jiu-jitsu. That's kind of...
I find myself still in spazzy moments. I'm like, why did I go so hard against that person?
Yeah. My least favorite part of spaz mode, I just have to say, is the pinching. When people pinch your skin. When they grab grips and they're just and you're like, I just want to tap to the pit.
Yes.
You're digging. Oh, you're turning while you're digging. Yum. Oh, you didn't trim your nails? Cool.
I now have a scratch. It's infected. That's great.
Yay.
No.
Okay, so
I love it though. Love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think
it's great.
I think we've got an idea now of what jiu-jitsu is and how it plays a part in our lives, and we could probably talk about it for forever.
Could probably make a whole podcast just talking about jiu-jitsu.
Oh, I'm sure we will. We will one day. We'll have a side podcast talking about it. I imagine us narrating some stuff too.
Yes.
But I want to go ahead and talk about whenever you were born.
Yeah, basically. Essentially, yeah. No, because I mean, even before I was born, my biological father had an addiction to drugs. And, my mom was like, you need to quit drugs or not be in your daughter's life. And he was like, well, I guess I just won't be in my daughter's life.
Yeah.
And I thought he had never even seen me as a baby, but my mom was cleaning out these boxes the other day, and there was this picture of him with me as a baby, and I was like, what?
Wow.
He was even present once whenever I was a baby. It was crazy. But yeah, he just left before I was even born, and so from ages 1 to 4, I would say, my mom was still kind of figuring things out, and so she wasn't really too present.
How did you feel when you saw that picture?
Oh gosh, I cried. I started just
I want to cry
sobbing.
just listening to I felt that.
No, I mean it was I get chills talking about it now because
did you I said, when you looked at it, did you okay, so these are the thoughts that run through my head immediately when you said that was were you does he look like you a little bit? Does he?
Yeah, no, I mean, he kind of,
yeah.
I've seen pictures of him before.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I've seen pictures
but not
of him,
with
but
you.
not with me. And so that was just
yeah, that is
crazy.
Yeah.
It was definitely crazy. And definitely, I've lost a lot of weight recently, and I've realized my face shape is really similar to his.
Yeah, because if he was on heroin, I imagine he was pretty skinny.
Yeah, no, that's a whole different story. But I've even seen him in person before, and I didn't know until after I saw him that it was him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that happened when I was in middle school. It was really crazy.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go back.
Sorry,
where I stopped you at.
It was crazy. I'll tell the story now. We were at a church, and there was this group of people that were behind us, and they were kind of disruptive and stuff. And then afterwards, one of the guys came up to my mom and was like, Beth, and I was like, who's that? And immediately, her husband, my now dad, he adopted me. That's another thing, but
yeah.
was like, oh, let me take the kids out to the car. I can tell something's like happening here.
Yeah.
And then my mom got in the car and was like, so Zoe, that was like your biological dad. And even at that moment, I started just sobbing right away. I was like, what? Like, that was him. Like, we were so close in that moment, but
Wow.
I've still, like, never actually met him.
I don't even know if I would have told you that was him.
Yeah. Well, she kind of had to explain things because
Yeah, I guess so.
we were wondering, we were like, who was that? Because he was using definitely at that time, and so he did not, like, look good
He
or
didn't look
anything.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does make a lot of explanation. It kind of puts some pieces together. So I
Yeah.
can see that, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It was definitely crazy.
Okay, so let's go back to where I interrupted you.
Yes, ages 1 to 4.
Ages 1 to 4.
Yeah, my mom was just like still kind of figuring things out because she definitely didn't like plan to have me. I think she was 20 when she had me.
Right.
Yeah, so, she just had to figure things out for a few years. She wanted to like go back to school, but thankfully she had my grandparents
Yeah, who play a big part in your life.
Yeah, support.
Yeah.
And so they kind of like were really a big part of my life from 1 to 4. I even, like, at one point, I remember I called my grandpa dad. And my mom was like, yeah, no, don't do that. That's not your dad. That's your grandpa. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't understand that difference.
Yeah, well, how could you? They ought to explain it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I spend a lot of time with my grandparents. Like you said, I have a really special connection with them even now. I live with them, and, it's kind of a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
It's nice. You get to be there for them when they're older, and we get to live with like a significantly lower rent cost than we would if we lived in an apartment somewhere. It's nice.
Well, and they took care of you, so now you get to take care of them, right?
Yes, it's nice.
Yeah. It's kind of like what happens, we switch.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. It's been interesting.
Yeah. So when your mom was raising you and having your grandparents help, what I think you said she went back to school?
Yeah, she started going back to school to get her teaching degree.
Okay.
Yeah, so she could become a teacher.
And is this the time that between 1 and 4 is around the time that she met your
stepdad? Past
Stepdad.
stepdad, yes.
Past stepdad.
Yes, not current stepdad.
Okay.
Yeah, that is, I think, around the time. I don't really remember when it happened, but it's really kind of a crazy story. So my mom was adopted by my grandparents, but I think her biological mother was still like sort of involved, would see her every once in a while.
Okay.
But she got married to this man, and I guess my mom still had, like I said, a kind of relationship with her, and this man had a son. And down the road, my mom's biological mother got divorced from him, and I guess my mom had a connection with her stepdad or stepbrother, past stepbrother, and they ended up getting married. And so, yeah. So kind of crazy.
I got lost on that connection there.
Yeah, it's sort of complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your mom essentially married her stepbrother.
Yeah, essentially. They weren't like
so there's no biological
at the time. But yeah, they're not like biologically related at all.
At all. It was just like a crazy freak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Crazy occurrence, but
just to make that clear.
Yeah, just to make that clear. Not biologically related whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they got married, I think, because my mom got pregnant with my younger sister.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a courthouse wedding, and
so how old were you at that point?
I think I was probably around, like I said, maybe 5, between 4 or 5.
And you were excited about having a sister?
Yeah, I was excited about everything, really.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm going to have a father figure in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a sister, and everything's going to be great.
And so everything seemed to be going pretty good,
everything
right?
was going good, like, for a while. But, eventually cracks start to show. There was a lot of fighting going on.
Yeah.
And, like, he was drinking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, as a kid, you definitely just kind of pick up on these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I definitely just remember many a night just kind of in my room and hearing them fight, and you know, like my mom coming in and being like, oh, everything's okay. And,
Yeah.
you know, you're like, but it's not.
Yeah.
But, you know, I had a father figure and it was good for a while.
Yeah.
And like he was definitely verbally abusive, like towards my mom and like definitely towards me a little bit. Like there were definitely good moments,
Right.
but so many like bad ones. Like and the bad ones were like really bad.
Yeah, and so that's how I would actually describe living with an alcoholic.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
On a little bit of, it's funny because I think sometimes that my kids maybe have experienced what you're saying you experienced. And that's hard because I think I tried so much to protect them from it that I would say things like, please just be quiet. Please, can you please stop yelling? Can we just talk about this in the morning? Can you,
Yeah.
just go get some sleep, something to try to get him to stop arguing and fighting and going in circles, to try to stop the arguments, right? Or I would get isolated trying to keep it quiet. Please don't wake the kids up. I was getting like no sleep and then having to work. And so
Yeah.
I almost can relate to like, and
Yeah.
it's kind of a cool perspective because now I get to see from someone that grew up with it, maybe how they were feeling.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. It was, like you said, my mom just kind of trying to keep things contained.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep it all together. Just
Because
because
that's
my
what you
sister had been
want,
born
yeah.
at that point, and it's like you have two kids that you're raising together. And like at this point, that's really the only father figure that I've ever had, so I can imagine just trying to keep things contained and,
Yeah.
enough to where they could keep it going.
Yeah.
For sure.
And there's probably some, whenever you get in those situations and you're already married to somebody, you kind of feel like you're stuck or tied down, right?
Yeah.
Especially with their kids because like it's hard to take care of kids on your own and alone.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like do I take
What do
this
I do?
abuse and
Yeah.
keep doing this, or do I stay with this person and
Just
have
try to work things out.
some kind of support for these children and let them,
Yeah.
the kids love their dad, but
Yeah, it's like I think probably one of the things for her that started to really put the strain was whenever he was verbally abusive towards me. Then she was like, that's just not okay. But like you said, I think there's just a lot of fear that comes with leaving the person that
where am I
you're
gonna
married
go?
to. Yeah, where am I going to go? And at that point, I'm sure, my grandparents were kind of like, why are you doing this? And why are you, still there? And like, I think they sort of didn't quite completely know even what was happening.
Yeah.
So they thought things were still good.
Yeah, because you kind of keep it a secret just
Yeah.
to. I mean, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I was pretty open with my mom, but I don't think my dad really understood to the extent what was going on. But what do you think the turning point was for your mom when she like
So
because
that's
how long was it?
I guess it was sort of like a lot of my elementary school life, like up until I was about in 3rd grade that they were married. But so I like made a friend that lived down the road
Okay.
from us in elementary school, and she was like my best friend. We went to elementary school together. Like I said, we lived down the road. We had sleepovers at each other's houses. And I guess her parents' marriage wasn't going too well either. And I guess her dad and my mom had a connection.
They bonded.
Yes, they bonded, I guess, over having trouble with their spouses.
Yeah.
And, our daughters are friends. And so we see each other
Yeah.
a lot. And so they had relations while they,
Yeah.
with each other. And one day, my stepdad discovered it. And so then that was just kind of
So you
the
were
bomb exploded.
Yeah. So this was elementary school for you that all
Yes.
this was going on.
Yeah, I think 2nd grade is whenever.
2nd grade,
Or no,
wow.
it was 3rd. Yeah, 3rd grade when all of this was happening. Yeah, it was
I
pretty
would
crazy.
say when when I had my divorce, well, I wasn't even divorced. I guess separation, whatever, was around. Ewan was in second grade. Yeah. And Chloe was in kindergarten. Yeah, because they're 2 years apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, similar times. Maybe that's what helped her though, kind of get over the hump of and wanting to separate with your stepdad,
Yeah, definitely was.
stepbrother, stepdad,
Yeah.
step uncle, stepbrother, stepdad.
Crazy situation.
Sorry,
Whatever
I had
they
to
were.
do it. It was too much fun. I'm tired.
Yeah, I think just having like someone that she could.
Yeah, like when they
have,
did that,
yeah.
maybe it gave her like a confidence or
Yeah,
something.
something. Yeah.
I think generally that's why people get in those situations, anyways, of unhappiness, and then they connect, and then they can, get the strength to go. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
This is
okay
it.
outside of
Yeah.
this. I can do this or whatever.
Yeah, I will survive.
I will survive. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so what happened with you and your friend when all that blew up? Did you still get to be friends with her?
Yeah. No, I mean,
Okay.
like, we were still friends. I mean, it was sort of just weird for a while everything worked itself out. That period's just a little hazy for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just there's a lot of just chaos happening.
Yeah.
I think we were with my grandparents again, and well, like my mom just kind of
Yeah.
tried to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
I would, like I said, I'm
So
just really
like
thankful
one
for
day
my
he
grandparents.
was just kind of gone. Well, he had to be a part of the life though because he was your sister's dad, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, after everything happened, they got divorced, and my mom was still with my friend's dad, my now dad. They're still married and everything.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
so your friend is now your
Yeah, and she's now my sister.
Your sister.
Yes,
Oh,
now my
that's
sister.
beautiful.
Yeah,
So it worked out.
Yeah, no, she's my sister and my friend now. It's awesome.
That's
yeah. Yeah, no, after everything settled, they had gotten divorced, and he said he was going to get help for his alcoholism, and so that he could still have visitation rights for my sister and me.
Yeah.
Because he was the only father figure I had ever known.
Yeah.
And at that point, he had only really been verbally abusive towards me. And so my mom was just kind of like, oh, well, he's going to get help. And so he'll be better.
Yeah, because, like, well, if you think he's drinking, then verbal abuse comes with it.
Yeah, definitely.
What kind of things, like, what kind of verbal abuse would he have?
Like, I just remember a lot of what's wrong with you, like, a lot of that.
Yeah.
Definitely just a lot of what's wrong with you.
Just, like, aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's sort of the thing that sticks out in my mind. He probably said it in lots of different ways, but that was the core
Yeah,
of the message. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, no, you're good. But yeah, like I said, he said he was going to get help and go to like therapy for his alcoholism, so he could still have visitation rights for me and my
did
sister.
he?
And I mean, like, he went for a while, like enough to where he was able to like have I don't know if it was complete partial custody, but we went over there like every other weekend.
Okay.
And like we would spend like a couple weeks in the summer, and like they switched holidays a lot. And so that went on for like a while, and like I said, he was better for a while.
Yeah.
Like I said, that period really is just sort of hazy for me.
But when he was like better, was he like less verbally abusive?
Yeah, definitely. Like that was probably like the best time period with him, because when he was a good dad, he was a great dad.
Right.
He was like all in, and taking us out like to the Renaissance Festival and medieval times.
Nice. Yeah.
Like really good things. But I think just kind of to make up for when the bad happened. Because like I said, he was good for a while, and like he got with this other woman at one point, and they got married. But when he started drinking again, that's kind of whenever for everything just
it went back downhill.
Like
he just reverted back to
and I think he had like a lot of anger from like my mom divorcing him, and like cheating on him, and I think he took a lot of that out on me. Because I was the one that was there that was,
Mm-hmm. And she wasn't there.
Yeah, and like I wasn't, his daughter. like his biological daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, where were we?
My sister is actually not my no, she's my biological sister, but she's my half sister.
Yeah,
like so we
half-sister.
have different dads.
Yeah.
But she's my sister. You know?
Yeah.
Like we grew up from birth to whatever together.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, we're sisters.
She went to her dad's sometimes on the weekends. And then she left me because she's 11 years older than me. Yeah. Left me alone.
Yeah, that happened.
Chaos with my dad.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, because my sister was young, and so she wasn't really
you left her
exposed to
alone,
everything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it definitely all blew up later on, but I think I skipped a little step in there. At one point, he got married to my second grade teacher. Yeah, that was like right after everything blew up.
You're from a small town. Where are you from?
Rowlett. Yeah, I grew up in. Well, I grew up a little bit down the road from here, but mostly in Rowlett. Yeah,
Rowlett, Texas.
Yeah, no, weird. I guess. I think he did it just to spite my mom. Really, just like this happened, and he actually had a daughter with her too. That didn't last very long. Really, just long enough for her to have the daughter, and then that was kind of over. And he got with a new lady, and that's whenever everything really, really started to go downhill.
And he started to drink again.
Yeah, and that's whenever he started to drink again, and like the verbal abuse started to happen again.
And he just started to take out things like like what he wanted to take out on your mom towards you.
Towards me, definitely, yeah. Like, he would get really angry if I made like just little mistakes. Yeah. Or like if I told like just a little lie, because I knew he would get really angry about the little mistake. And so, that's why I lie, because I don't want him to get angry.
So sorry. I have to go check on the dogs. They may not be in the backyard.
Uh-oh. Okay. She says they're here. You're here.
Okay, so.
Yes.
Dad.
Yes. Stepdad.
Stepdad number 1.
Yes, number 1. Had started drinking again.
Because he's married his now 3rd wife.
Yes, now 3rd wife.
Okay. Then let's hear about that a little bit.
Definitely. Yeah, like I said, he just like gradually, I think he started drinking because he just had like a lot of anger towards my mom, and
and so he was taking it out.
Yeah, taking it out on me. Just being verbally abusive. Like I said, just getting angry just at like every little mistake I would make. Like I remember once I spilled Kool-Aid and he just like blew up on me and was just like yelling and screaming, and it was crazy. And like I remember one time he heard about my sister and I got in like a little argument, and like I pushed her. And I remember him like getting really upset about that, and then asking me like how hard I pushed her, and then like he pushed me and was like, was it that hard? And I was like, it was just crazy. And like,
how old were you?
I was in elementary school still, probably like 4th grade.
4th grade by now.
4th grade. Yeah. Probably 4th grade by then, yeah. But like I said, he was like the only father figure I'd ever had, and like in my mind, I'm just like, why is he even doing like this?
Oh, that was just my dad on a daily basis. Yeah. He was just such an angry and a happy person.
Yeah.
I mean, he had his moments though, like you
said.
But it was like, why did you leave the blah blah blah?
Yeah.
It was just so intense, yelling all the time, and I was like, why always being yelled at?
Yeah, why are you so angry?
And then I ended up yelling at my kids, and I was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Oh, because that's what my dad did.
Yeah. That's all I know.
That's all I know is how to yell at people.
Yeah.
So, I hate it. I don't yell anymore, really.
Yeah, and there was also this part of like, I have this whole other family too, because I had grandparents on that side.
Yeah.
Like I had like a grandma and a grandpa, and I had Christmas and Thanksgiving with them, and
Yeah.
like so much of you as a kid doesn't want to lose that. That's your family.
Yeah.
Like I see, he was like the only dad I had. I called him dad,
Yeah.
and so I knew if I like spoke up about these things that
You might lose
I
them.
might lose him,
Yeah.
And there's also like fear for sure.
Yeah.
Like, what if my mom doesn't believe me?
Uh-huh.
And
I
then I
think
have to
all
go back and
kids
he's
really
even angrier.
yeah, I think all kids really fear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard stories like that before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I can't really talk about what or who I've heard, but just I guess situations like where they would take stuff and like put it in the bag, and then they'd come home and say they stole it and they didn't really steal it. Not giving them a place like a bed to sleep and stuff
Yeah.
like that, just because it's a step parent.
Yeah.
They would kind of treat you differently because you were the one.
Yeah, definitely. That was, there's lots of different instances where,
Yeah.
he treated me differently because, I wasn't his biological daughter. And
Yeah.
I guess the thrill of me being around had worn off at that point, and I was just kind of a reminder of his failure with, my mother.
Yeah.
And, I guess that's why he was angry. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that might
Definitely,
be
yeah.
what's so important to just really, I don't know, with parents. Like I'm learning as I go too, but just to really think about your kids first before you think about,
Yeah.
like it's important for yourself to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself, but you also have to think about how something's going to affect your kids.
Yeah.
Like it's been very concerning to me several times throughout my children's life that they've met a new person and then that person's been gone. Like
Yeah.
you were saying, they go to Thanksgiving with these people
Yeah.
and then they're gone.
Yeah, definitely.
They've bonded a relationship with them. And I've had to have real talks with my kids at a young age, like, hey, I just want you to be understanding and mindful that this person that you might be attached to may not be here. So don't get too,
comfortable, yeah.
And because once, like, grandparents were like buying my kids presents at one point. I'd be like, "Where'd you get that from?" And they're like, "Oh, so and so's mom." And I'm like,
What?
"Your dad's girlfriend's mom?" Okay. And like I'm on I heard they were in problems. This is not good, right?
They're getting too attached. Yeah.
So I've just kind of like been very careful on my side about who I bring into my child's life and stuff.
Yeah.
And kept that private just because I think that's one of my biggest fears is how it affects the children. So you want to make sure that it's really the right person to be bringing around. But
yeah, and I don't think his wife was really like she was really nice to us, like she would do crafts with us like on Halloween and stuff. But I think we're just kind of a toxic combination for each other. Like they both like to drink.
oh God.
And so they would both just drink and drink, and that was just kind of the norm.
Yeah.
Was, drink the night before and then he's hungover the next morning, and so we just kind of figure out what to do in the morning, watch cartoons, and then he's awake and he's good for a little bit, or maybe he's angry that day, and
well, who
he has you out in
knows
the yard,
if you've
like,
been up
doing-
all night drinking and
Yeah.
you didn't get any sleep and then you have to wake up the next morning with children when you're hungover, then yeah.
Not always the best to
That's
deal with kids when
fine.
you're
Go ahead and
hungover,
eat
yeah.
your cereal and watch
Yeah.
your cartoons and be quiet. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And I think probably like the turning point for me whenever I finally decided to speak up like to my mom about things was I vividly remember we went out to Medieval Times one night
Yeah.
and he drank, of course, like a lot.
While y'all were out there?
Yeah, like while we were all there, and then he drives home, and this is also kind of like a blurry night for me, but I just remember him being just in a rage. I remember him and his wife having this terrible fight in the parking lot, and I can't even remember like how exactly it happened, but like I remember him driving around. Like it was super late at night, and then I remember him driving to this house, and I think it's his ex-wife's house, my second grade teacher, like in my kid mind, I recognized something, and I was like, why are we here?
Yeah, why are we at my...
Yeah, why are we at this house? And like he gets out of his truck, and I like remember I heard glass breaking, and then like he gets back into the truck, and like his hand is bleeding, and like this whole time he's just yelling at my stepmom is what I called her. And they're just having this terrible fight, and I'm just kind of in the back with my sister, and I'm just trying to shield her from it. I'm just telling her everything's okay. We're gonna be okay.
You're trying to be strong for
Yeah,
her.
definitely, because it was like he was really drunk. I felt like at any moment.
And he was driving with y'all in the car.
Yeah, driving with us in the car. You feel like at any moment things can just end.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it was.
So when your mom was letting y'all go on these weekends with your first stepdad, she was thinking everything is okay.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't knowing that these things were going on.
Yeah, like I think she knew like a little bit of it, but I don't think she knew quite how.
Like not to the
I
point
would tell
where it was
her,
so
"Oh, he yelled at
uncomfortable."
me
Yeah.
this weekend," but not to the point like, where she thought it was bad enough to where she would not send me over there anymore.
Yeah.
Um.
So on that night after that, you felt your sister was in danger too, right?
Yeah.
So that was that kind of a point where you were like,
this is
I have to speak up now because it's not just about me.
Yeah, I'm like, this is our lives potentially that are,
Yeah.
because I think at that point he hadn't really driven like that with us, where he was so drunk that he didn't have control, and like where he was that angry.
It's scary.
It's scary. It's like, you feel like...
My ex-husband used to drink and drive a lot.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's very scary. And I actually hate driving.
Yeah, it makes me an awful passenger.
Yeah.
I am the worst. Austin gets so upset.
And then I would have to drive for him.
Yeah.
Like, I have severe driving anxiety, and I'd have to drive for him. I would have to blow into his breathalyzer for him so that he could drive. And then it started taking pictures of me, and I wasn't even the one that... I hated alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, I hated it. I'd still, like, every once in a while drink it, but it freaking sucked. I was, like, having to drive this car, blowing this breathalyzer. It's taking my picture. I didn't do anything. And then he's just getting to go to work with a chauffeur, because he can't stay sober.
Yeah.
It was so ridiculous. But, yeah, so I know about drinking and driving. It's very scary.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, it makes me a
I've
terrible
lost a few
passenger,
friends that way. Yeah. I've had some car accidents. Yeah, it's real. My ex-husband flipped his car, and I had 2 kids in the middle of the night. It was very scary.
Yeah.
Another friend of mine flipped his car, I think more than once. And then I've had a lot of friends that have been hit on bicycles too.
Poor bicyclist.
I don't know. Like, one's been hit like 3 times. And like, just stop riding your bike.
Take a different form of transportation.
Stop it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were drinking though, but that's what it
bikes just aren't safe. It's
like
poor bicyclists.
Bicycles, not motorcycles, bicycles.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I can imagine how that made you feel. What did your mom say whenever you told her about it?
Yeah, I remember we were in the car, just like, I think it was like the day after maybe, and my mom picked me up, me and my sister up, or it was like the weekend was over, she had picked us up, and, I remember just this feeling that, like, do I say something?
And she probably felt that too, right?
Probably, for sure. I was probably definitely acting different than I usually do. Just probably really shut down. you know, and I remember we were on the way back from the grocery store or something, and I was like, you know, Mom, I need to tell you something. And, you know, like, I told her everything that had happened, and I was like, and I think he, like, you know, went to my second grade, you know, his ex's house, you know, and I remember glass breaking, you know, and I could tell she wasn't, like, 100% sure whether or not everything I said had happened had actually happened, and so I think she confirmed with my second grade teacher, like, yeah, my current boyfriend had his car window broken. And so that's whenever she was like, oh, like,
Yeah, well, she's
things
probably
have been
doing mom
happening.
inspecting in her brain, like, okay,
Yeah.
well, let's go find the proof of this. Because anytime you're dealing with somebody like that, that's an alcoholic, they can never admit that they did something because they don't always remember.
Yeah.
They kind of do blackouts and stuff. So then you say something, and then later they go, well, I don't remember doing that. That didn't happen. And then you sound like the person lying.
Yeah.
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 And you're like, no, really? How would you remember?
That, yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I think things happened pretty quickly after that. I think right away, visitation stopped with both me and my sister, you know, while she was like, dude, you need to get, like, some serious help before I even consider sending one of my daughters back over
yeah.
to see you.
Yeah.
You know, and so
Definitely.
there's definitely a long period where we didn't see him, you know, while he got some serious help, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember how exactly the conversation happened when my mom, you know, told me that my sister was going to continue to go over there to visit him, but I wasn't, you know, because at that point, I guess she kind of realized he's taking things out on just her, you know, and like I said, not my sister. Yeah, like I said, I can't remember exactly how the conversation happened, but I remember, like, just being really kind of confused. Like, does he not want to see me anymore?
Yeah.
You know, like, he was still my dad to me that had just kind of really messed up. You know, and, like, maybe he was getting help again, and, you know, like, maybe things would be better again. And like I said, I had grandparents still that, you know, I loved seeing, and, you know, that I wasn't going to be able to see anymore. And like I said, it was just a really confusing, and I was just really angry. I had a lot of anger towards my mom at that time because I was like, why are you
Yeah.
separating me from this family? Like, not even realizing that it was the best thing for me
Yeah.
to not go over there.
And that's hard too because, okay, make sure I'm not getting any more neighbor calls.
No more dogs escaping.
Yeah. That's hard too because your mom has to have strength knowing that you're mad at her and not understanding. She had to have strength through that to know that that was what was best for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was really strong of you at that age to recognize that, okay, I have to say something now. That's kind of what happens when you feel like you have to protect somebody else, is when you kind of start to
Realize that you have to
speak up and say the
like,
right
this is where you
thing.
draw the
Because
line.
for you, it like for me, it's like, okay, I could take abuse all day long. But then when
Yeah.
it came to my kids, it's like, okay, they can't take it. You know?
Like when it came to my little sister, I was like, yeah, no.
And that's the toughest part because you're cutting off ties 100% from something, and sometimes good memories go with that.
Yeah.
It sucks. Like, there's people that I've had to cut out of my life, and I remember there's a lot of memories that are tied to it that you miss.
Yeah, no, like really good memories, like
But
with
you
my
can't,
grandpa
yeah.
and just
But you can't go back to something that is
toxic.
toxic and chaotic because it's not good for your mental health or well-being. It actually makes people very sick to take that. And I didn't realize that either until I was out of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I think it even took me, like, until I was an adult. Like,
Yeah.
even in, like, high school, maybe, where I was finally like, oh, yeah, that was, like, not good at all. Like,
Right. And when you probably
my mom
started
should have
to
never, you know, she was right to not ever send me back there.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you probably started to have your third stepdad, who is now your
my dad.
adopted dad in your life, that probably kind of
showed me, like, what a dad's actually supposed to be.
Yeah, what it's supposed to be like and not what you thought it was supposed to be like.
Yeah.
Because kids will make the best of the worst, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I said, I remembered all the good things, and I was like, oh, well, it's okay because he does the good things too.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
bad side isn't too bad because he does the good things. But
Yeah.
once I was exposed to like an actual loving dad that was always loving, I was like, well, this is like completely different. This is nice,
And confusing, right?
Yeah,
when you start getting some love,
confusing.
you're like, hey,
Yeah, this is weird.
take it easy.
When you're trying to move my dad, and he was, but it was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Well, that's good that ended up that way.
Yeah, no, definitely it was really nice for sure. I mean,
So
they weren't doing everything right, but it was a lot better than things were before.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think during that time helped you get through it?
Like I said, just having the support of my grandparents for sure. They've always just, my sister would start visiting her dad again.
Yeah.
And, on those, and, my other sisters were visiting their mom. And so I'd have these weekends, just kind of by myself. And of course, they would try to make it the best weekend over there because they barely got to see,
and you'd
their
have
kids.
a blast with you. Yeah, so you
and
enjoyed
I'd just
going.
be stuck at home doing the same old thing. But, those weekends with my grandparents were always really special.
Yeah.
I'd get to have, movie nights with them, and, we'd go out to eat. And
I know.
it was always just
Grandparents are so magical. I miss all of my grandparents so much.
Yeah.
I think I've told somebody this before. I try to steal people's grandparents. I'm like, can I go to your grandmother's house?
My grandma's probably willing to be stolen.
I'm
She's
serious.
the
I
nicest.
miss grandparents so much. They have a smell about them. I mean, my older clients at work, sometimes I just sit there and listen to them talk, especially when they have like a southern drawl.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, tell me all about your cat.
Yes. Please keep talking to me.
Yeah. And then there's other people. I'm like, oh my God, you are one grumpy old man. Go away. They're not always great, but when there's good ones, I'm like,
though,
oh,
yeah.
I want to bake me some cookies and tell me stories.
Keep bringing your animal.
Yeah. They are magical.
Yeah, they are.
So what kind of thing? So you would have movie nights with your grandparents?
Yeah, that definitely helped. I mean, like I said, my parents weren't doing like everything right. There was still just kind of some things they were dealing with, and I don't think they were quite, knew how to raise kids. But like in my adult life now, something that helps me, I dealt with alcoholism myself personally. And so I went to Alcoholics Anonymous for a while, and a motto that they use there a lot is the only thing that you can control is yourself. You can't change the things around you, but, you can control yourself. And for someone who likes to control things, that was like, I just kind of repeat that to myself whenever I feel like my life is going kind of crazy. I'm like, I can control myself. I can choose what I do, and that's where I can start.
I can control myself.
Yes.
That is something that kind of helped me at one point, I think a little bit too, might have even been Josh who told me this. I don't know. But I can't control what other people do or say or think or like anything. You can't control what anyone's going to do or say.
Yeah.
So there's no like, at the end of the day, you can't make somebody care. You can't make somebody do these things. And I think that just like in my mind kind of helped me a little bit.
Yeah.
To accept aloneness as well. Because being like always feeling like I needed to be with somebody instead of just be with myself.
Yeah.
So that helped me too. So that is a really good motto. So you can control yourself.
Yeah, I like that one.
I think that's where I had a lot of anxiety too, is I didn't always feel like I was in control of myself. I felt like I had impulses, or that I wasn't going, like I didn't trust myself to be in control of myself.
Yeah.
I don't know why or where. I'm sure there's some deep connection into childhood with that one.
Yeah, right.
But
there always is.
Yeah.
It always just links right back to your childhood.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
but
that's awesome.
yeah, I was a very quiet child actually.
I was too, yeah.
I didn't talk a lot when I was younger.
Yeah,
I just
was
drew.
really shy. I read. I was
Yeah.
a reader.
And you're a Sagittarius, right?
I'm Cancer.
Cancer.
I'm
Dang
a Cancer,
it.
yes.
Why do I want to call you a Sagittarius?
I don't know.
I don't either. Someone up there's a Sagittarius. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, Cancer. Chloe's a Cancer. My mom's a Cancer.
Yeah, my grandma's a Cancer. I think that's why we get along so well.
Yeah,
We just
my mommy.
get right
my
along.
daughter. Me and my daughter fight a lot, but it's just because she's a teenager.
Yeah.
So a preteen.
Teenagers like to fight. They just like to argue.
Mom. I don't know. That's just how it is. I don't know.
That's still my answer to a lot of things nowadays. I'm like,
Me too, but there's like this
don't
monotone,
know.
like
yeah.
expressionless. Like at least it's a response, I guess.
Yeah.
The other day I didn't get a response at all out of her, and I was like, cool.
Guess we're nonverbal now.
Yeah, and I was on the phone with my sister, and she was like, yeah, that's about the same thing that I got today was no response.
Yep. It's
Yay,
great.
cool. Kids are awesome. Not really.
No.
No, they're so awesome when they're younger. They're so cute and sweet and fun and annoying, and then they get
Yeah.
older, and then they're mean.
Yeah, I heard someone say that it's
smell
to
bad
get
and
you
they're
ready for
mean.
when they turn 18.
Is
and,
it?
and they have to leave, because you've had all that fighting, and they're like, oh, I guess get out of the house. I don't want you here anymore.
I moved out when I was 16. My
Yeah.
mom was mad, but actually, I'll give y'all a tiny piece of my story because people have been requesting it. Which I'll have an episode about my story. Don't worry, I will. It's coming. But my dad, one time, I was dating my first husband, and my dad, I had taken one of those big, ugly box computers and putting it on the floor because I was going to move the bedside table. I was rearranging my room. He walked in and he saw, I'm going to do this in my dad's voice too. He saw the computer on the floor. He turned cherry red and said,
Warning. This is a reenactment. Explicit language.
Haley, why the fuck is the goddamn computer on the fucking floor? The computer has a fucking place in life, Haley. And I packed 7 bags of clothes and left. And I went and slept and lived on my friend Matt's couch for about a month. And then his dad got mad at me because we weren't doing the dishes, or Matt didn't do the dishes or something. I don't remember. And so, yeah, 16, I was like, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
I'm done. That's
No
just
more,
like kind
yeah.
of the way he talked. He would
Yeah.
just get so OCD and like, because he thought that computer on that floor was gonna just be ruined
Yeah.
by it being there for just a second. And I just fucked everything up, and everything was,
Yeah.
so at 16, I was
Yeah.
like, bye.
you're
And my mom
done.
was like,
no more.
your dad's gonna apologize if you'll just come home. And I'm like, no. And she was mad at me. She's like, you left me alone with him. And I was like, I'm sorry, he was yelling at me.
You had to get out of there.
That's what I did, though.
Yeah.
I would run away.
Yeah.
I still remember running away and hiding in this garage when I was a little girl.
Yeah. I definitely remember thinking about it a couple times. I was
Oh,
like,
I
I
had-
could make it.
I've
I
run
can
away
make it
with
on
my
my own.
Barbie bucket. I had a Barbie bucket. And I packed all my Barbies in kindergarten.
That's
'cause
what's
that's
necessary.
essential.
Yeah.
And
Necessity.
I had a little clamp, and I ran away to my school, and then it was like, I used to go half days because it was like kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
So the teacher was like, what are you doing? And all the older kids in 6th grade were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm running away. And my dad at the bottom of the hill, in the backyard, my dad and my brother are sitting there pointing and laughing at me. And I was like, And she was like, well, where are you going? I'm like, I don't know. So I was
plan
like,
this out.
I guess home. So I turned around and had to walk home with that humiliating, like,
I mean, you ran away, just not very far.
no, well, I didn't think it through. I didn't have food. I didn't have shelter. I had Barbies. We were going to play at the playground, right? But then I didn't know there was going to be all those older kids, that were like,
too
sorry, you got to go back
much,
home. Yeah. It was just,
Too much for
that's my earlyhood trauma.
Yeah.
I don't even remember why. I think I was just mad because he was yelling at me or something. Yeah, I would get yelled at and run away. That's what it did.
Yeah.
A lot. Lots of running
Everyone
away.
copes in different ways. Yeah.
I don't run away anymore. I just kind of stay put.
Yeah.
I do jujitsu, and that helps me get all that anxious energy out.
Oh my gosh. If I don't do jujitsu, I'm like just a little ball of energy. Like, especially at night, I'm like, there's no sleeping.
My brain goes nonstop. But if I exhaust myself, I think I remember Josh saying that one time. He's like, I don't have time to think about anything afterwards. I'm just dead. Like, don't. And so I really felt that, especially when people tried to, like, call me or situations after, like, hang out. I'm like, bro, I'm just going, like, no.
Not happening.
I'm dead. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Like, really? Yeah. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes I stay up all night thinking about what I did.
Yeah, no, that happens to me too. I'm like, how could I have done that better?
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess we're going to wrap up this episode.
All right.
Any other words of healing, encouragement, like anything else you do?
Just like jujitsu. Yeah.
Just jujitsu,
Keeping
yeah.
my mind active for sure, and just finding something that you're passionate about is like
I
the
think-
biggest thing I would suggest for
I
sure.
think there's something you're passionate about that you haven't shared.
Huh?
There's something you're passionate about that you haven't shared.
Oh, plants too.
Plants.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
Let's
I'm
tell
very
the-
into plants.
Let's tell them how many plants.
I have
you
at least 150. I stopped counting after 150.
I don't even know how you can take care of it. You need to come check on my plants.
It's like a whole day.
Yeah, she's our plant lady up at the
Yes.
gym, so
Yes.
she gives us you'll be poison ivy. She gives us our advice on our plants.
I try.
I have a
try
few
my
that are
hardest.
kind of living, kind of dying, so
Yeah.
don't look at them.
Well, everyone has that little corner where you're like, nope,
Yeah.
I just don't look there. That's the corner I ignore.
All right. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Also wanted to shout out that Miss Zoey is going to be competing this weekend.
Yes.
That's so exciting.
Already competed.
Oh, she would have
Once, yeah.
already competed when this comes out.
Yes.
But we're going to...
In real time happening tomorrow.
Yeah. She's good. She's got it.
Yes, I'm
She's
excited.
Number one.
I'm nervous
We
I did.
can't go coach. Wah, wah.
I have your
But-
voices in my head.
Yeah, I told her to FaceTime.
Yeah, no karate hands.
No karate hands.
Active hands.
Remember to breathe.
Yes.
Post
breathe.
your hand.
Head on the ground for the
Head
X
on
choke.
the ground. Just yelling at you.
Rainbow hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, well, thank you so much for
Yes.
coming on.
Thanks for giving me this opportunity to talk with you. It was
You're
awesome.
welcome.
Yes.
I hope it was a little bit healing.
Definitely,
Sometimes
always.
talking about things is healing.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
And I do want to say that as that I am just somebody here going through the motions just like anyone else. We just decided to talk about it. I am not a substitute for therapy. So if you're going through something right now, definitely advocate for you to get help with your mental situation. But some things that help me is just writing it down and saying it out loud, and I don't know, burn the piece of paper, do something
Yeah.
to put it,
I've heard about that one.
to get
Burn the
over it.
paper.
I do, I got my sage here and my crystals and all my things that give me good energy. And I just try
Yeah.
to put good energy into the world, because if I put it in there, then it comes back to me.
Yes.
And that's healing. So just remember to try to be positive, and you can do anything if you put your mind to it, because you're in control.
Yes.
Yes. in control.
Yes.
I'll start making T-shirts and stuff that say,
I'm in control.
I'm in control. I'm in control. And then Gata, what did she say? She said, everything's going to work out.
Yes.
Everything always works out. So everything always works out, and I'm in control.
Two good mottos.
I'm going to start making T-shirts. Merch.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Then if you have people back for a second time, you have to have them like wear your merch.
Oh, yeah, for sure.